for rolling, I'm just going to go into it.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, Ethan, we're good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is another episode of the TK Boxing podcast. It's on. Yeah, we're recording. We started. Yeah, we started. And yeah, finally, I won't drop you in it, but finally we have a guest who we've been really excited to get on. He is a former super welterweight and welterweight. Finished at super welterweight, right?
Yeah, finished at super, yeah.
Yeah, I got to get that right. Sparred with the likes of Ricky Hatton, Manny Pacquiao, fought on the undercard of Mayweather-Pacquiao. A friend of the show, I'm going to say.
Yes, definitely.
Mr. Sid El Harrak, mate.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm pleasure to be here.
Welcome, buddy. How you doing?
Blessed. I'm happy and excited to be here. Had a good day. And we're finally here because it's been, 5 weeks? 6, maybe a few months, right?
You were meant to be our first guest.
Yeah, I was supposed to be your first guest. I am like your 6th or 7th now,
Yeah. No,
so
well,
at least I'm here, so that's all I'm happy about.
And you are here because you literally got in from Vegas last night, didn't you?
I drove last night from Vegas, yeah.
Just for the podcast.
It's just for the podcast. Go ahead, brother.
I think he maybe found other excuses, but he's like, I gotta go for this guy. So I keep canceling them.
Because remember what day did we arrange the podcast on Thursday? Or remember we said we're gonna do it, I'm gonna be in town for a couple of days before I have to leave to Mexico?
Yes.
And then I canceled it.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh man, then fins fell through in Mexico. And I was like, oh, perfect opportunity, let's go. The stars aligned and now we're here,
That's it. Because we were going to do one yesterday, just me and Tolis.
Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But no, we really appreciate you making the time for us, man.
Of course.
Yeah, like I said, friend of the show. And, if you're watching this, you'll see that we're in a different setting now. We're going up in the world, I think, the podcast. We're now at...
Finally, a boxing podcast in a boxing gym.
Yeah, right. And we thought that would...
Like flowers in the back. And
Yeah, we thought
it was nice.
It was nice. It served its purpose. But yeah, just to explain, we're at Mad City Boxing Gym here in LA. So a big shout out to Dom, who's the owner of the gym. The three of us met here.
Yeah.
We train out of here. Well, some more than others. You coach here. You also coach here from time to time.
Right.
And I built a brand through Mad City.
Sorry, yeah.
Was one of the main places that PK Boxing grew from the first day.
Yeah.
So big shout out to Dom, big shout out to Mad City, big shout out to our new producer, director or producer, how you say that?
I would say both. Director, producer Ethan, right? Shout out Ethan. You can't see him. Maybe we'll get him onto the podcast
New
at some
Mad City
point.
prospect when he comes.
Yeah. We'll see how this...
No, I'm not. He's a natural.
He
I'm
is
the
good,
first to
isn't
say
he?
he has no amateur fights, and he just has to just little things he has to transition.
He has
and
heart.
Not only that, he's a natural. You could tell naturals, and he's a natural. He could be a natural. He's a natural fighter in that. I can see it. So yeah, he definitely has potential in the future.
All right. Well, we'll see if he's got potential as a podcast director, producer. But so far, so good, Ethan. Thank you.
Are we on, right?
We did all that and we're not on. There's a problem.
He didn't
You're
press
fired.
record. He didn't press record. Before we get into where you came from in your boxing journey, let's just talk quickly about what's going on. We've got the Canelo fight has just been announced.
Yeah, actually, I was keep seeing that they were posting Canelo is going to fight Berlanga, and I was like, okay, they're just trying to promote Berlanga, or it's just like fake news, like usually happens, And I see Canelo posted like 2 days ago. It was like, listen, I'm a big Canelo fan. I support him like since day one. I wasn't happy with that though. Like I still don't feel like he's Daki Benavides. I feel like he's a boss and he's trying to get, I don't know, like he does whatever he wants. But I mean, Berlanga is, I don't know, they trying to make him like he's a scary, like new best fighter.
I remember Canelo one time told Demetrius Andrade that he's fought nobody. I can't name one fighter Berlanga's beat. I don't know any of them, I think I think he's just an average fighter. I don't think he's on Canelo's level. I feel that this is
I think
an easy win for
Andrade
him.
is better.
Andrade's
honestly.
not only that he's better, he's a world champion. He fought legitimate opposition.
Yeah,
he fought legitimate opposition. He deserved that shot against Canelo
100%.
way more than some guy Berlanga. But as I said, I was telling who was I saying this to? I was saying it earlier that we live in a different era, a different time. Skills, they usually say skills pay the bills in this game. That's what they used to be in boxing. It's now changed. It's if you're popularity, if you have a following base, followers, and you're gonna attract eyes, they get the spot over people that have paid their dues, who've earned the opportunity to fight Canelo. You have to earn it, and I don't feel like he's earned that opportunity.
And 100% I agree with you, but let me ask you this. If you are in Berlanga's management team, because that's what I see that it will happen. In the first place, probably Berlanga's teams, they are like, that's a lifetime opportunity for the money that we will make, and if we have one possibility, to win, that's going to be huge.
Right.
But I give zero chances to Berlanga to have any chance, and what I personally believe is that Canelo is going to destroy his career because he's going to knock him out cold, and he will give him zero trouble, Berlanga, to Canelo.
Okay, I'll tell you this. If he knocks him out cold, he doesn't destroy his career. You don't destroy a man's career by knocking him out cold. You destroy a career by rounds and rounds and rounds of punishment. That's how careers are destroyed, because they're never the same after. If you just hit one punch and you go out cold, then it saves you from further damage going on.
I meant to say more that the build-up, he had more to give.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he did. It's not like he. It's not like when Canelo fought Mayweather that it was very difficult for Floyd to knock him out, but he would win. But it's very difficult.
Canelo was very young when he fought Mayweather too. He was probably 23, 24.
Do you think anything would have changed if they fought now, Canelo with Mayweather?
I think if it was the Canelo of today fighting the Mayweather of back then, I think Mayweather beats him easier, because Canelo's got too in love with his power.
I wasn't expecting that. It beats him easier.
I think he's got too in love with his power. He's got too in love with going to the ropes and throwing big punches, thumping punches, and Mayweather's gonna catch those shots, and he's gonna beat. Canelo back then was firing faster, sharper punches, and he was trying to put his punches together. He's got too in love with his power, and I think he underestimated someone like Bivol, where those punches just bounced off of this guy because he's just huge. And I think Mayweather will beat him decisively right now. Decisively.
Wow. So go for it.
No, I'll just say, so why has he chosen Berlanga then? Is this just another paycheck to prolong
Because he's going to make tens of millions. People are going to tune in regardless. Mexico versus Puerto Rico has had a history of rivalries. I don't think Berlanga is he's nowhere a fighter like Tito Trinidad and Husker. This is nowhere on those caliber. But Cotto, who the Cotto fighter that was a Mexican that Cotto fought? I'm trying to think. That
Puerto Rico or
Marquez.
Puerto Rico. Did Cotto fight Marquez? I don't think Cotto fought Marquez. But anyway, yeah, Cotto too. But I'm saying Tito Trinidad versus Oscar De La Hoya is a historic fight. It's not on that level, but Canelo has a name that people are going to tune in for every time. I'm going to watch it. Even though I don't really think much of Berlanga. I watched the Munguia fight, and Munguia's 45-0, and like I said, records look good on paper. But if you go behind those records, 28 of those wins came in Mexico. He only had, 17 fights in the U.S. And I think one of them, he lost, and they gave him the decision. And you actually gave Munguia a chance in that fight. I remember you telling me, didn't you?
I did.
Did you say that? One of you gave him a chance. I said he's going to get washed.
I predicted Munguia.
Did you predict Munguia to win that fight?
I thought I'd just spice things up, that's all.
Now he lost.
Yeah. He went with Canelo, but...
Did you go with Canelo? Yeah, you went with Canelo. You've always going to give him a tougher fight, though. You said a tough fight, right?
I'll go with Canelo. Yeah, I thought it's going to give him a good fight. And I thought because of the age, maybe Munguia with the pressure, but he made it look easy, bro. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I think he carried him for a little while.
Why why you think? I don't want to say he's avoiding Benavides, but why he's not fighting Benavides? He's just trying to build even bigger.
No, you don't need to. When you're on that level, you don't build no more. He's trying to maintain.
So it's a procession. It's just
Yeah.
becoming the Cinco de Mayo.
What are you going to build to? He's the elite of the elites. Like,
And they're both
like,
now in the top.
Yeah,
It's just a little-
no. Benavides is a phenomenal fighter, a problem for light heavyweights and super middleweights. Like, he's a problem. Canelo understands that. So think about this. Even though he's going to make, Canelo don't need money, first of all. So he could go make 30 million beating Berlanga that he's going to clearly beat. Or he can make 60 million and he has a good chance in losing to Benavides. Now, if he plans to fight Benavides, he needs to fight Benavides sooner than later because Father Time is on Benavides' side. Okay, so Canelo's coming out of his prime. Benavides is just going into his prime. So he's only going to get stronger.
When do you think is a prime for a fighter, for a boxing fighter?
I think every fighter has a different prime. I think it bases off the punishment, the history of the fighter in the gym. Like, so you look at Bernard Hopkins. His prime lasted into like his late 30s, early 40s, right? But then you look at Jeff Lacey. His prime went after the Joe Calzaghe fight. When he fought Joe Calzaghe beat him up for 12 rounds. They should have stopped that fight and saved that man's career. And he was never the same again. Never the same fighter after that Joe Calzaghe fight. So it all depends on a fighter's history in boxing.
I like when Bernard Hopkins. Actually, I really like Bernard Hopkins when he is giving advice to fighters because he understands the game. He has been through the game, and he's giving very good points. Like he was saying, when I was finishing the fight, I was going home, taking an
ice bath. It's not part
ice bath, doing. You see all of these young guys going partying, going. Yeah. That's why I'm lasting. Now I'm not saying that. I understand you want a big fight, you want to go out, like most of the guys they do it, but the mindset of how to keep your body always like.
See, Bernard was one of my favorite fighters coming up, 100% one of my favorite fighters coming up. Bernard's fundamentals were intact. So when Bernard, look, there's no denying Roy Jones is probably one of the greatest fighters, athletes boxing has ever seen. Period, right, of all time. But fundamentally, he's very bad. But he relied, Roy Jones Jr. He relied on his speed, his agility, his power, his reactions. Once those slowed down, those little pullbacks he used to do that get away from those punches, weren't getting away from those punches, and you see Glenn Johnson clip him, put him out. You see Tarver, clip him, pull him out. Bernard Hopkins, he studied the basics, the sweet science. So when he got older, he went back to the basics, the sweet science. Roy, he depended strictly on his athleticism. He was a freak of nature. He's one of the greatest. Like I love Roy Jones, young Roy Jones Jr. But once he got older, everything that made Roy Jones Jr.
You know what? That's a great point because I understand that from myself also. I was never like in the highest level, but I can see that when you lose the athleticism, you lose a lot of things in the sport.
It's over, yeah.
And you can if your style depends on the athleticism, you're not the same anymore.
No, it's done.
And you can see even with Pacquiao, with the Cuban guy that he fought, like he couldn't move his feet anymore.
Yeah, he's stuck.
He wasn't the same.
Yeah, he's stuck. And
you know what I love? I'm sorry, I gotta switch this up. I like because you were talking about Hopkins, and I'm a big fan of Hopkins.
Me too.
I really like the thing that he did with Tito. Like how much affects the. Do you know that story? That he fought,
the flag.
Do you know Tito Trinidad?
Yeah.
Tito Trinidad.
You've seen the Tito Jr., yeah.
Yeah, do you remember the story?
No.
Okay, so Bernard Hopkins was fighting with Tito Trinidad. Tito was the A side big time. Like everybody was saying that Hopkins, he's just, he's there, is just another opponent for Tito. But Hopkins, he was so smart that he was playing mind games with Tito. So they went in Puerto Rico. I think he started in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
So he was in New York. They had the press conference in New York. Bernard Hopkins took the Puerto Rico flag. He threw it on the floor.
No, that was in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, but I think he did it also in Brooklyn.
Okay, I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, maybe I'm
But he
missing
got
that.
chased out of Puerto Rico.
But what happened is they went to Puerto Rico and everybody was hating him so much because of the things that he was saying about the country. And what he did, he took the flag. When they were doing the face-off, he took the flag again, he threw it on the floor, he stepped it, and he would start running. And the whole stadium was chasing him. But what happened got in Tito's mind.
Yeah.
Tito was like,
Angry.
he was
Became emotional. Yeah.
You
can't fight with emotions.
Dude, he messed him up in the fight. Though. He knocked him out, or what? Right? I think he
He
knocked him out.
knocked him out in the late, like 11th or 12th round.
Who are some of your favorite fighters to listen besides of I know Hopkins, but let's say you talk about like
To listen to?
mindset and about like mindset in the fight game.
I love Tito Trinidad's mentality. That man was a no-nonsense type of fighter. You saw that with Ricardo Mayorga. You remember Ricardo Mayorga?
Yeah, of course.
Ricardo Mayorga couldn't bully with him with his stupid antics. I remember
didn't
that.
see that
Oh
fight.
my God! If you saw the build up to that fight, Ricardo Mayorga lost before the bell rang because
Really?
he couldn't get in Tito's head. Tito is that type of dog mentality where it's like, I'm coming. You can't. Nothing you say or do is gonna hurt. I'm coming to take your head off.
I want to see
So
that.
Tito Trinidad, I love Tito Trinidad. I like the way Andre Ward. If you ever hear Andre Ward talk, Andre Ward
Love
is
Andre Ward.
not
I was
only is a
about to say that.
phenomenal fighter. That
Phenomenal.
man, the way he breaks down fights.
Such a shame he
And-
stopped commentating.
I don't understand how you take a commentator, you fire or let go, or ESPN let go of Andre Ward and keeps Tim Bradley. I like Tim Bradley, I do. That man, he doesn't do nothing great. But he worked hard. He worked hard, he had a big heart. He had
Tim Bradley.
Tim Bradley.
Yeah.
He worked hard, he had a big heart, and he made a hell of a career for himself, right? But you talk about Andre Ward,
One of
that's
the
a
greats
generational talent. That man can fight in any generation. And every time he talks, like I'm on track with everything he's saying. I'm just like, man, this man never said anything that I found controversial. I'm like, bro, he's like everything. It all starts with his leg. Like, man, he's incredible. And then, so he's one of the guys I love to hear talk because I pick up new things, and I agree with majority of things he says. Because the sweet science isn't too confusing. The sweet science is the sweet science. Some people understand it, some people don't. George Foreman once told Larry Merchant on HBO and Jim Lampley, because they be commentating and talking a lot on HBO. George Foreman told Larry Merchant on HBO, Larry, you don't know boxing, you only see it. And that's 99% of people in the world. They don't know boxing,
What do you
they
need to
only
know?
see it.
What do you need to know? What do you need to do to know boxing in a way that
Studying ain't gonna help.
Is it studying or is it
No, studying.
competing?
You could be a historian boxer. You could know who was a world champion from 1932. Don't mean shit. It doesn't mean nothing.
Do you need to like get those feelings of from the sporting side? Like you need to like compete at least a little bit. You need to have been coaching a little bit.
The trainer who created me, I think he had like 2 amateur fights. He's probably the best trainer. No disrespect, because I had a lot of trainers that I love and respect, to all my trainers in the past. But the man that made me like who I am, I swear to God, I was probably like 15-0 as an amateur with him, and he took me for 2 pro fights, and I won both fights by knockout. But I looked great. He had like two amateur fights, but he studied the greats like Meldrick Taylor, Marvin Hagler, and he went to the camps of Meldrick Taylor, and he was watching Meldrick Taylor, and then he broke down things and saw how if things went wrong, they would drill and drill and drill until they got it correctly, and they won't move on. So now I've took that myself, and I've transitioned my craft around like in the 80s and the 90s, So yeah. I've lost my train of thought, man. What was we talking about? So go ahead. Yeah.
We're talking about like what it
Oh,
takes
it has to
to,
be
to,
held.
to,
Yeah,
to
you
know
just
it.
experience. I feel like you have to learn the basics to understand boxing. You know, everything leads to something else. Like I see boxing gyms are filled. Like social media is I feel social media is the cause. Everything's trying to be seen. Everything's trying to look pretty. Everything's trying to get views. But views, looking pretty, and being seen doesn't help when the bell rings. It doesn't help. Okay.
I have a feeling that it's going away though.
Huh?
It's going away slowly. It
It's not.
It was a
Okay.
trend that, you know, like throwing 30 punches combination and look cool on the camera. It was cool, but now everybody's like, whatever, bro. Nobody
But
cares.
you say that, like, so I'm not gonna name the gym, but I'm in the gym right now in Vegas that I used to train at many years ago, and it's a big promoter, probably the biggest promoter in boxing. And in 2008, 2009, you saw desire, you saw hunger, you saw determination, you felt the struggle, you felt like people wanted something. You know, you just, it's a fight. Like you come into the gym, like when I first went over there, I had to get respect. They don't give respect, you gotta earn it.
Everybody's looking at you in the eyes.
Yeah, it's like, who
who's
is this guy coming to my house? Like, no, this is my weight, what's up? Like, it's like a challenge, like, who is this, you know what I'm saying? You have to earn your position to be in that gym.
That's big.
I train fighters at the same gym now, and these guys are divas. They walk in, they're chewing gum, they're like 9-0, and they fought nothing but journeymen or people that come to lose, and they're getting their hands wrapped. They're after they finish working, they don't look like they went through any struggle or learned anything.
Can I ask you a
That's
question
very
on that?
interesting. That's
From an outsider's point of view,
Yeah.
and I'm in no obviously position to like comment on that, but like the boxers, how you grew up and how you got into boxing compared to these kids now, how are they growing up? Like, is it still similar backgrounds, or is there
see, in my time, we were working to get out, to be seen, to be noticed, to be somebody. Today,
they have it ready.
you have a false reality of somebody on social media. They think they're somebody because they got these views,
We don't to try to
or
hard.
you got these likes. You know, they think they're better than they are, but a lot of these guys they're very mediocre. And then like Dana White there's a reel that went viral of Dana White, and he says this generation's a bunch of, can you swear on here?
Yeah.
Pussies. He said this generation's a bunch of pussies, and to all the real savages out there, run them over. There's a reel of Dana White. I have that reel. It's on my page. Run them over, and that's how I look at boxing. There's real savages that like Gervonta Davis. That's a savage. Not only that, he's a very intelligent fighter. Gervonta Davis they think he's just a puncher. No, that man can box. That man's intelligent. He breaks down people's flaws. So when he fought Ryan Garcia, what did Gervonta Davis do when Ryan exploded forward? He fell in the hook. He smothered it. He goes forward, smothers the hook. Devin Haney was pulling out. That's why he was getting clipped on the end of the hook. So he's at the end of the power. Gervonta is falling in. And if you end up in close against Ryan Garcia, you're okay, because Ryan's
That's what
not
I
known.
like about this guy, man. The science and the details that he's giving you is
But
like nobody even broke this down, but it's true.
This is
But
the
plus, when he
difference. But this is the difference. As I said, going back to knowing boxing and seeing boxing. You see one thing, I know one thing.
that's an intelligence. See, the biggest thing like that strikes me about boxers is, yeah, you got these kids coming from like, rough backgrounds and didn't have the chance for education, but they have an intelligence. Yeah. And you need that intelligence in boxing. Where does that intelligence come from?
From the coach.
It's
One thing?
it's I feel it's from your coach. It's from your life circumstances too. For instance, like when I started boxing, I lived in council housing in London. My mom was a single parent, so I lived in council homes in London, and a lot of my family still live in council homes, and so I was always used to that. I was always used to that environment. Then my mom got married, and we got transferred to the United States, where I was a middle class person, but I still had a council home environment. So when I started boxing, the boxing gym was in a middle class neighborhood, and I look around, and I'm looking, and I'm like, man, I don't see no like hunger in here, like I just want like killers, like I want danger, like I want to see passion, you know? And I'm like, huh. So I left the gym, and when I left the gym, I drove all the way to South Central. And if you know how far that is from Santa Cruz to South Central, you're talking 50 miles. But 50
He
miles
drove
don't...
to see the bad guy.
No, I didn't drove to see the bad guys. I drove to be the bad guy. Because I wanted to be around that environment. I wanted to be around that I need to get out of here environment. I need to be somebody. I want to be something.
That's
so I
heavy.
used to drive...
That's big, bro.
50 minutes. I used to drive 50 miles. And 50 miles in Los Angeles, you may not think it's much, but if you catch it on the wrong hour, it's going to take you an hour or two to get there, you know?
How did you knew that boxing gym has killers?
My coach that created me, that we were no longer working with, came out of that boxing gym. I looked at his knowledge.
What was the name?
Broadway Boxing Gym.
I know this. They close out.
They closed, yeah. I guess the rapper downstairs bought it, but yeah, that gym was...
That's in
What
Compton.
made you want to do that? Like you were the
Because
best.
I took this serious.
You have to be around dogs.
I took this serious. Like I wanted, like I
That's
like.
big.
No, I took this serious. Like it was like for me, every time the bell rings, people always say stuff about fighters. Oh, he shouldn't say I'm gonna kill him, or I want to. They go on Teofimo Lopez about saying that. Let me tell you something. If I'm willing to die stepping in the ring, I'm willing to kill. It's me or him. This is not no soccer match. This is the hurt business. So I don't want it to happen. But when the bells ring, something switches in my mind where it's like, I don't care if it happens. But then once the bell finishes, I'm like, damn, I hope he's okay. Because I'm not human when that goes off. I'm somebody else. I'm not human. My mind is not sane.
I remember yesterday I was watching an interview of John Jones, UFC.
Okay.
And he was saying, I don't remember the fight, he was fighting a Brazilian guy. The Brazilian guy, he was doing very, very well in that
I know what you're
fight.
talking about, yeah, okay.
And he was he was getting very good, John Jones. And the reporter asked him, why do you try to break his knee? Because John Jones, he was going straight for the knee.
Yeah.
He's like, this man was trying to kill me. So I don't care what's gonna take me, but I gotta stop him.
Yeah, you gotta stop
So in his mind, it was like, I don't care if his knee's gonna break, like if anything bad of him will happen, but I have to stop him.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
See,
And
casuals don't understand that because it takes a special human being to get in the ring.
I feel what you were saying before, that the generation is changing because of the social media. They're not
soft.
killers anymore.
It's
you know?
soft.
You see very, very few. You know, everybody is like how. Also, you can understand that you have to promote yourself, right? Like that's the way of.
But it's not fair. I'll tell you that why, because there's real talent out there, and the amount of, and that's why I said skills don't pay the bills no more. You gotta have a following. You gotta have publicity. You know, you gotta have popularity. Like Jake Paul, I have nothing against Jake Paul. It's not him, but with Jake Paul, people behind him, he should be further along than he is, skill fundamentally. He does everything wrong. He's not an average boxer. He's not a good boxer. He's an elementary level fighter. He can't put 2-3 punches together without falling off balance. He threw a right hand against Perry. His back foot came off the ground. He makes unnecessary movements. He can't fight on the inside. He can't fight going backwards. And that's not on him. Yeah. But that's not on Jake Paul. I don't fault Jake Paul. When you see a fighter in the ring that's doing things that you consider bad or he's trashed, because people always say disrespectful term, don't blame the fighter. He's only doing what he's being taught.
Yeah, but do you think that...
Blame the coach.
Do you think that taking Jake Paul and trying to build him as a world champion...
No, it's not ever going to happen.
No, I'm not saying that it will, but I'm saying that the way that they tried to build, they were trying to give him a huge fight. And do you... would you... No.
Oh, okay,
my point is different. And to nobody, I don't think that he will... But do you think that Jake Paul was like... What you did when you went first day in the gym? Because I will tell you what I did. My coach was like, you see this line, you walk in the line for 2 hours.
Yeah, walk
and you
back
come
and forth.
tomorrow again and you do the same thing. And you spend the next 6 months doing that line. You know what I mean?
So the thing is that with Jake Paul, you ain't bringing money to your, like a lot of money to your coach. You're a kid. you know, he's gonna make what he's gonna make money off it, how much money he's gonna make. With Jake Paul, he has a bunch of yes men around him. They tell him what he wants to hear. They do whatever he says. You see some of the guys, but he has a former fighter in his camp that just looks, it's pathetic the way he acts around him. Like, you know, he's a bunch of yes men around, and not only that, he has a bunch of people like the commentators for the fight. He had Errol Hawani. We cannot not say that Jake Paul wasn't a legit boxer. Like, how do you know what a legit boxer? You're a freaking MMA analyst. Now you're a boxing professional. Get the fuck. Like, what the hell are we talking about right now? You know? Then you got Tyron Woodley. Yeah, he's a legit boxer. Then he adds in a little excuses why his ass got knocked out by him.
Let me be honest with you though. That I can get the part that Tyron Woodley is commentating the guy that he got knocked the fuck out.
Because
and
you know why?
Tyron Woodley was a UFC champion,
you know
legit.
Why?
Like,
Tyron Woodley went from a UFC killer, and that's what he was, to a diva. And the reason, this is when I lost respect for Tyron Woodley. And when I lost respect for Tyron Woodley is, he was having his second fight with Jake Paul. Jake Paul came with a gift. He opened the box, it was a Rolex. And Tyron Woodley, oh, this guy's crazy. I accept, like a diva, like giving him a gift, like he's a woman, you know? And I'm like, and you're about to fight this man in a few days. Like, man, I don't want that watch. I want your head. Like, I'm coming to hurt you. I don't want you to give me nothing. That's when I realized Tyron Woodley is just there for the check. He's selling out.
That's a different product though, right? We're talking about Jake Paul, but it's still a different product to actually what boxing is. It's entertainment. Right? They're two separate things.
But is it though? Is it entertainment? Because sanctioning bodies have him rank.
Whilst he fights MMA fighters,
yeah,
it's entertainment.
let's break down.
What's his ranking?
No, in the world he's ranked like 100. That's high.
He fought one professional boxer.
No, he fought
Tommy Fury.
No, Tommy Fury isn't a professional. He's
even that. Yeah.
Right, so Tommy Fury was 10-0. Two of those, he had the 10-0 record, right? When he fought him. Combined, it sounds impressive. Oh, I'm 10-0. It sounds impressive. When you calculate how many wins and losses those 10 fighters, they have 20 wins and 150 losses. You better be 10-0. You're fighting people that come to lay down.
But I don't even think we should be necessarily talking about it so much. Like Jake Paul's product.
But that's the problem with boxing, because I wouldn't talk about it, but sanctioning bodies like WBC, WBA,
they're making
IBF,
money from it.
Right? They are putting this man, and it's not a hate on Jake Paul. I'm not hating on him. I'm hating on the sanctioning bodies and the state of boxing. You're ranking this man against people that deserve those rankings, that's fighting legitimate opposition that worked their entire life. Maybe they don't have a following, maybe they don't have a life. But what does that got to do with nothing? He earned that spot. Jake hasn't. He fought a guy named Austin something, whatever his name is. This guy was 10-1, another impressive record. He only beat 2 people with winning records, and he got knocked out by a guy that's 3-3. See, people don't break it down.
So how does this? All right. So bringing it back to like what you're saying about this new generation of fighters and social media and having that kind of being able to put themselves out there and market themselves without actually going through the proper grind, right?
Okay.
And trying to prove themselves. How does all this affect the product of boxing long term? What are you saying? Like, these fighters are all good on the eye, but the fights are going to be shitter because they're actually, the fight isn't in them. They're going to be
the few solid fighters that will come out of the crop will dominate.
So
it's going to be hard to find competitive bouts.
Okay, so that's what you're saying.
It's going to be hard, and that's why UFC is more appealing. Like, I'm not saying, like, obviously the money's still in boxing because UFC fighters still try to come to boxing, but UFC, like, after I stopped fighting, I found more enjoyment watching UFC cards than I do boxing. Like, I think Boots Ennis is an extraordinary talent, but I've never tuned in to watch him fight because it's just the same. Like, they don't put no one in there. They put people in there that make him look
I think now though, now he's signed with Matchroom, that's going to change.
I would like to see Boots fight someone like Tim Tszyu.
Well, he just did his kind of breakout fight like a couple of weeks ago.
But that guy's tailor-made for Boots.
Right, but I think that's just the kind of, what Matchroom do really well is like, market the fighters, make them fight in their hometowns, and then take them around. And Boots has been inactive for fucking ages.
Yeah.
So I think that was like just a good kind of starting point. But now I think Eddie Hearn's going to push him.
But
properly.
they're trying to push a Bud Crawford fight, and
Who's
he
fighting
doesn't
this
deserve
weekend?
Bud Crawford because let's be honest, like Bud Crawford, he's in for legacy and money fights. He deserves legacy and money fights. He's paid his due in the game. And asking people, oh, he's ducking Boots. But this man's asking for Canelo at 68, and he's ducking Boots. Like, he's going up. He already just went up to feet. This is his first fight at 54, so he's really going up 3 weight classes to fight one of the pound-for-pound ranks fighters.
Mazarov, this weekend you're talking about.
Yeah, he's fighting that guy this weekend. I don't know too much about his opponent, but I've seen him on tape. He looks really he looks stocky, right?
I mean, you can underestimate guys from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan.
No. These guys
No,
come out.
Mazarov is a good fighter.
Yeah. I've never seen him actually fight, to be honest. So I'm interested in watching that. But
I've got a question for you though about. I don't want to go too far back, but do you think Garcia quit because of that? He doesn't have that fight in him.
All right, so I think Garcia.
Is he a perfect example?
All right,
of like
so
the
Ryan
social
Garcia
media
versus
fighter?
Gervonta Davis. Okay, people don't understand. When you get hit with a body shot, you can't control when you stand up.
But
When
he
you get
stood up like when they waved it off.
exactly. So he was aware of when the count is up, and he was able to get up. So if he's aware when the count is up, he was able to get up prior to that, right? So Garcia was with Canelo's camp, right? I feel like Garcia, he went from, I think he's a hell of a talent, first of all. I think he's not even fighting, I think he's fighting 70% of what he could be. Honestly do. I think he's fighting, I feel that he's letting social media and this outside, this fame get to him too much. I feel like he went to certain coaches because he knows that those coaches are gonna allow him to do what he wants to do because they're just there to get paid. Right? I feel like this coach, James, is a wrong fit for him. James is a 1-2 punch type coach. Reset, 1-2, reset, 1-2. Ryan Garcia has fast twitch muscles. He has good power, good healthy young legs, fast hands, and powerful. He needs to be
Who would
double.
you have choose for Garcia as a coach?
Oh man, it's tough, man. I have to. Oh man, I'm not sure. I'd have to. I mean, I think he was looking fine with Canelo's coach. I think he looked better with Canelo. He was active with the jab. He was active with his movement. His punches were coming together
Definitely, Reynoso had him on.
Yeah.
Listen, either you do this or.
So that's the best I've seen of Ryan Garcia when he was with Canelo's team.
He got dropped from what's the British guy?
Yeah, but that guy is a gold medalist.
No, I mean
Campbell.
that he got dropped. He got up.
Yeah, but did you see how he reacted when he get up? That's what that kid. This is what surprised me at Ryan.
That
he
was
has
pre
heart.
though. That was pre-fame though. That was Ryan Garcia like hungry.
Yeah, but
then.
did you see? Okay, but he has it in him. I'll tell you why he has it in him. That's why I'm surprised that he didn't get up from the Gervonta Davis knockdown. If you
He could. It looks like he could.
Yeah, he could. I know he can because he got up when the count was up. When we watched the Haney fight here, Haney hit him with a left hook. Ryan, what did he do? He banged his hands together and he started cursing. So he has this. I just feel he has distractions in his life that is turning him away from the sport. There's no reason why he should have came in 3.5 pounds overweight. And people don't understand the difference that would make in that fight. Your water will retain less, your brain will retain less water. Those punches he was getting hit with had more effect. He wouldn't be as powerful, as explosive. Losing 3.5 pounds when you've already drained down to 143, if you struggle to drain down to 143 and you had to lose another 3 pounds, that's a do or die situation.
So do you think Haney beats him in a rematch?
Haney has to make a lot of adjustments. Haney has to make a lot of adjustments in his game.
Besides his game, he needs to make adjustments. I think attitude. In the sense of like,
it's tough.
I mean,
to say.
he's not even going to fight anytime soon.
I don't know how Haney. When you take, like I said, when you get knocked out one punch and you go down, I'd rather that than take 12 rounds of getting knocked down 4 or 5 times and getting hit with shot after shot after shot. So we just don't know how Haney's going to respond when he comes back to the ring. We just don't know. I don't know. It's tough to say now. It's really tough to say because that fight could have changed. Now it's a mental thing for Haney. When you see Ryan Garcia across the ring from you and you think about the first fight, are you going to make the same mistakes? He should have studied Bernard Hopkins versus Trinidad. He only has a left hook. That's all Ryan had. And Ryan's very clever. So with someone like Haney, you want to punch in between his punches. Because once he's on defense, he's going to try to be alert, you know? But Ryan, as soon as Haney let the jab go, Ryan just threw a check hook and clipped him, dropped him. He's just punching in between his punches. So I would favor... In the rematch, I would still favor Ryan Garcia. I would, because he's got that mental confidence going for him.
Well, they're not going to fight for a year anyway.
Yeah. So I would favor Ryan Garcia if they ever fought again.
Who's your pound for pound?
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's tough because Usyk's performance against Tyson Fury was so impressive, and that guy is a phenomenal talent. But I love Terence Crawford's demeanor, his mentality, he's so skilled, he's an extraordinary talent. Like that man.
That performance with Errol Spence, I think from here, he was never here. He was always there.
Let me tell you something. That's when I say Errol Spence is punch, 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 reset, punch, 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 reset. Terence Crawford understood that, and he punched it during the reset. As soon as Errol stopped, the reset comes in, then Errol, he got caught. So he understood the timing of, okay, blah, 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 boom. He let him go. I feel James, I love Errol Spence, not based off style, based on his characteristics in that fight. He went out like a true champion, a true warrior. And I gained more respect for him in that fight than any other fight. I lost all the respect for his trainer. His trainer should have saved him in the 6th round because Terence Crawford isn't getting any weaker and Errol isn't getting any stronger. You took that kid took 7, 8, 9 rounds of a beating. It's a demoralizing beating when you're an undefeated champion the way he was. It's a demoralizing beating in front of the world. You let that kid go out there and get beaten up for another 3 rounds. That could cost him really his career. He may never be the same after that. When you could have saved it in the 6th round, saved face, but his ego.
Very often with fighters though, right? When they're getting a big beat up, they never come back the same.
If you have a corner that doesn't want to
Is that
save
a
you.
mental thing, or is
No, it's a mental and a physical. It's a physical.
Like a body physical.
No, it's a physical thing too, for sure. 100% it's a physical thing. If you're taking or punishment after, round after round after round, it's not just mental, it's a physical thing. Your body just slows down. Your body's not designed to take this is why fighters are so special. Your body's not designed to take these hits constantly over and over again. And there's always a question about if boxing is more dangerous than MMA, and it's 100%
because of the head.
Because we take too much trauma to the head. It's constant head trauma. Man, I don't care. Choke me out. Give me an arm bar.
How is your memory?
Like, I mean, I feel like
you have, first of all, I shouldn't be asking them because you're very sharp, but you have answers for like every time that we talk, you remember things.
To be honest with you, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, it's hard. Like, sometimes I'll forget that, like, days. And, like, you know
Do you
what I'm
think that's
saying?
from boxing?
Dates.
Because a lot of people have that in anyways.
I don't know, you know, because I felt like I pride myself on my defense and being intelligent, and I was willing to go to war every time, but I tried, like, intelligence wins fights. They are like Floyd Mayweather is like, there's 2 people that I will consider dogs that the world that see boxing wouldn't. Floyd Mayweather is one of them, but he doesn't need to be a dog because he's too intelligent. But when he needs to bring the dog out, he brings the dog out. So when he fought Chop Chop Corley, Chop Chop hit him with a right hook, hurt him bad. I don't know if you've seen that fight. Hurt him really bad. He stumbled back to the rope. He had his hands up. Chop was on him.
I remember that was one of the
Chop-
first fights.
It was early. It was like he was like I don't know, it was like 20 something to know or something like that. How a fighter responds after being hurt tells you all you need to know about his characteristics and his nature as a fighter. He walked Chop down and dropped him that round. Then there's a reel on social media that his natural instinct, he says, quit bitching and fight. Quit bitching and fight. There's a reel on social media, him saying to Chop Korba, people that are not dogs don't react like that. Quit bitching and fight because he's bitching at the reverend. He wants like fight. Shane
Wait,
Mosley.
that was not with this guy.
That's
was
with Chop Corley.
No, that was
100%.
with that was with Zabzuda.
Chop Corley.
But he did something similar with
Maybe,
Zabzuda.
but it's Chop Corley, 100%. Okay. So there's that one, right? We will look it up. I think it was. I think
But he did something similar with
maybe.
Zabzuda.
But that's his natural instincts.
Okay.
That's a dog instinct. When he fought Shane Mosley, he got hit with two brutal. I love Shane Mosley, by the way. Hell of a fighter. He got hit with two brutal right hands. Did he run the rest of the fight, or did he walk Shane down? He walked Shane down the rest of that fight, right to his right hand. So he doesn't need to be a dog because he's too intelligent and people can't match this.
All right, question for you. You said that pound for pound is Crawford. Who is your favorite fighter ever?
It's hard.
Because you just talk so much about Floyd. But let me say this. Because for me, if you ask me who's my favorite, I will probably say Duran, Pacquiao. If you ask me who is the best ever, I will say Floyd.
Do you pick Pacquiao based on entertainment or based on just fighter?
Based on his heart, based on he was never backing up, based on he was not performance or style, but like based on like the dog that he is.
Yeah, but it's hard for me. It's hard for me with Pacquiao, man. Reason being is I'll tell you why it's hard for me with Pacquiao, because when you're fighting when you tell Marquez, who's a 135-pound champion, to come up to 47, but you fight Miguel Cotto, who's the 147-pound champion, to go down to 45, I don't like it. Because why are you telling the welterweight champion of the world to fight you 2 pounds lower than the weight class that he's a champion of? Who's that an advantage to? Pacquiao or Miguel Cotto? It's advantage to Pacquiao.
Well, but Pacquiao wasn't a natural 145 or 147.
And there's another question. He started at 106. In history of boxing, no fighter has ever started at 106 and came all the way up to 54 and dropping and hurting people. No fighter.
Great,
Roberto Duran is one of the greatest fighters to ever grace the ring. He went from 35 to like 47 or 60, and he was getting knocked out. Roberto Duran is he's one of your favorites, right?
Easy.
And Pacquiao is one of your favorites.
Yeah,
Roberto Duran went up 2 weight classes, he was getting knocked out. Pacquiao went up 9, and he's knocking people out. Now,
yeah, but
there was a time period.
Different life though.
No, it's not that. It's because they have different life for sure. There's a time period in boxing where Pacquiao went on a long stretch where he didn't knock anybody out. He was going to the decision. That's when there was that drug testing came into effect. He weren't knocking no one out. He was winning decision after decision after decision. He then fights.
You really believe that?
No, I know it, 100%. Then he fights. I'm gonna put it. Then he fights Matisse in Malaysia. Looked like Terminator. And Matisse is a big puncher. Lucas Matisse. He fought him in Malaysia, not in America. In Malaysia, walked him down. Boom, just knocked his ass out. Chavez Jr. and Manny Pacquiao were both trained. Both fitness coach was Alex Ariza. Okay, and I'm gonna get more in detail. But Chavez Jr. had cramps in his fight. Same cramps Manny Pacquiao has in his calves. Manny Pacquiao used to complain about cramps in his calves. Same cramps, right? Chavez got busted for PEDs. There's a history of Chavez PED users with the same strength coach, Manny Pacquiao, but there's never a history of Manny Pacquiao with PED. You want to know why? Because Manny Pacquiao generates money, and money talks. When you're generating that kind of money, that kind of revenue for promoters, for managers, for stadiums, you know what I'm saying? They're not busting you for nothing. there's a history of, even Floyd went on record saying that that they've admitted to that they do PED. I don't know, that I have to go back and look at it, but there was something on it that, see, Floyd, I understand, Floyd knows what Manny's doing. I'm not against Manny, I just was that wild card today, you know? I don't have nothing against him, but I 100% believe that he was not a clean athlete. He was not a clean athlete. There's just no way. I sparred Manny Pacquiao, and I remember this day forever. I sparred him for his second fight with Eric Morales. I sparred him. I went to work. I was 21 years old. I was an amateur at that time. I went to work. I swear on my mother's life. My boy is a big boxing fan. His name's Greg. He said, "How was the sparring, Sid?" I said, "Greg, he hit me so hard. He made me believe I had to be born special to do this. That man, so small. He hit me so hard that I went boom. I was like, and I'm just thank God that the bell sound, because he would have dropped me if he hit me again, right? I said he hit me so hard. He made me believe I had to be born special to do this. And I looked at him. I'm like, damn, he's so small. Like, how the hell did that happen? Like, I was like questioning my ability. I was like, man, I need to stick at BJ's or something, be an expo or something. So I was like questioning myself.
Crazy,
I was
man,
questioning my own abilities. Like, can I not take a punch like these guys, or am I different, or what's wrong?
That's crazy. You're saying that because
unhuman. It was unhuman how hard that punch hit me and how fast it was. I'm like, nah, that's impossible. I can't believe that. I've never seen that.
Yeah, but what about thinking of? There are not many that him. That's why he's built different.
He's human. We're all human. We're all mortal men. He ain't special. Triple G, Triple G's natural. Like, you know, that's Triple G's Triple G. He doesn't look like he's doing anything extraordinary. That Triple G also stayed at one weight. There's no fighter in the history of boxing that started at 106 and went up to 154 and carried their power. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, but to be very honest with you, like there is no, like, I never heard that from the news or from the, never came something bad about.
So if we listen to the news every time we want to hear the truth, you're never going to hear the truth. The news never reports.
True.
The people, I'm boxing news, it doesn't matter. It will report the narrative that they want you to believe, okay? And none of it's true. Like, there was a false report on me when I turned pro. I won't say the name, but this reporter said that, oh, this trainer, a lot of fighters leave him. Sid Harrak just left him. And I haven't even turned pro yet. I'm about to turn pro. But he doesn't realize what happened was, I was sparring Margarito for Golden Johnson. He was my coach at the time that I left, that no one's loyal to him. My coach at the time, some people came in and saw me spar Margarito. They said, oh, we like to use him for Hatton fighting Mayweather. We want to send him to Manchester. So my coach is talking to them, and I end up going to Manchester, England.
Yeah, please tell me about this.
Yeah.
Hatton's my favorite fighter.
So Hatton and his family were lovely to me. They sent me over on a business class. We watched the Shane Mosley Cotto fight at his house.
Sorry, which fight was he training for?
Hatton versus Mayweather.
Oh, right. Okay.
So Hatton had a unique regimen. He never sparred more than 6 rounds for the first 5-6 weeks of camp. He sparred 6 rounds Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So it was the easiest money sparring partners ever made. So this is back to I'm gonna tell you back to the report that says I was disloyal to this coach. And that's why I say you can't always believe what the news tell you. So we're supposed to get paid $2,500 a week to spar Hatton. Everyone got their envelope, and you get a per diem too. So you're making almost $3,000 a week, okay? Everyone getting their envelope. They open his envelope, he opens his envelope. It was Carl Doggan, Rock Allen, and my boy Kareem Mayfield. There was 4 of us. He, $2,500. I open my envelope, $2,000. I'm like, huh? Okay, but I'm not complaining. I'm an amateur kid, you know. I'm grateful to be there, the experience. I'm honored, actually, you know. This is Ricky Hatton. He's about to fight Mayweather. And we had a lot of conversations in the locker room. So I kept getting $2,000. So I'm like, okay. When I get back to LA, I go to my trainer. I give him a portion of the 2,000. I said, thank you. Of the total money I made. I said, thank you. He took it. Okay, great. I find out the reason I was getting 2,000 is because he's taking 500 off the top.
Fucking hell.
And that's why I left. But the reporter just says, oh, Sid, this loyal fighter, he just left this guy. And it makes me look like the asshole. But he didn't contact me. Can I get your side of the story? Why did you leave this trainer?
Yeah.
And that's why, I know the guy, he goes to Wild, he used to go to Wild, he's very arrogant looking, I can't stand the dude. I can't stand the motherfucker, but yeah, so that's what I'm saying, you can't always believe what you read because...
So the guy, you know what, I'm very like, I can't accept that, like you put your body, your heart, you put yourself in a risk going against fight, because every time that you step in the ring, you put yourself in a danger.
Of course.
You might get killed. And this coach, he was making money, I understand, because he hooked you up there. But he said, okay, give me those two.
He took the extra.
That's what I'm
but
saying.
The thing is
like, man, like you know that
if he
I'm
came up
putting
to
my
me,
life there.
No, but if he came up to me and said to me, look, it's 2,500, I'm gonna take 500, you're gonna take 2,000, this is the deal I got you. What do you think, I'm gonna say no? See, of course, because we're a team. I want you to earn if I earn, right? I'm not a greedy person. So I would have done that anyway. The fact that not only did he take the fight, he took more money that I gave him that I have no obligations to give. Sparring money is my money. I don't have to give the coach
Did you left
nothing.
for that reason?
That's why I left. And that's the why. But if you ask this jackass reporter, he's a bitch. I don't care. You ask this jackass reporter, I was just disloyal. And that's what I'm saying. Like they'll put stories out of you. You have to kill a man's name before you kill a man. And it's unprofessionalism. Don't put his name out there, by the way. I'm just mad.
No, we can cut this.
Yeah, don't put his name out there. It's just unprofessional. These assholes. Yeah,
I don't even
writes. He's wrong. He writes for.
There he is.
He writes for. He used to write for. Arrogant motherfucker. And that's what frustrates me about it. So I just don't believe a lot of things I've read. And one time, I trained with Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, and there was an article talking about how Badu Jack left Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, blah, 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 blah. And I see all these comments, hate comments on Badu. I left a comment. Such and such and such. I trained with Eddie. He's a good guy, but I didn't get the attention I needed. He was training too many fighters at one time. I felt like I'm being pimped. Like, you know, you got fighter here, fighter. How are you going to give us attention? How are you going to give us time with the mitt work and tell us what we're doing wrong and the game plan? You can't. So we're basically training ourselves. I left that comment on Fight Hype. A few hours later, I get an email and a friend request from Badu Jack thanking me for what I said and thanking me for standing up for him and putting it out there because people don't understand. And I said, no problem, brother, I got you. Because I was once there with you. I was once in those shoes.
Let me ask you something. I want your opinion. I know a story that did Triple G fought with Abel Sanchez the second fight or no?
I'm gonna be serious. I'm not sure what happened with Triple G and Abel Sanchez.
Okay,
I'm not a big fan of Abel Sanchez.
But they were saying that Triple G left because of the money. So let's
I'll
say
believe it.
you have a deal with your coach that he will get a 10% in the build-up of your career. And Abel Sanchez, he was building Triple G. No, building.
Okay.
He was helping Triple G.
Okay.
And to get the big fights, he got the big fights.
No,
he
you
got
can't.
Canelo.
He can't help Triple G get the big fights. Triple G is already in a position where Triple G is gonna get big
but
fights.
I'm saying that, you know, like they
Yeah.
work together, they have a deal.
Okay.
And it's a 10%. That's what it is.
But that's not what it is, though.
No, but my point is this, that in the second fight or third fight, I don't remember where, I think he left in the third fight. They offer him like much more money to fight Canelo in the third fight.
Yeah.
And of what I know, Triple G said, I'm not going to pay you a percentage, I will pay you a flat fee.
That's
And Abel Sanchez said, I think I'm right, but I think I'm very positive that's the story. Abel Sanchez said that, but we had the agreement that it's 10%, and Triple G, you know, he was like, but the money are bigger, we gotta change the deal. So what do you think about that?
I believe that's a very common thing.
So basically,
Floyd
like,
Mayweather,
do you believe that, like, in a professional level, the deal can change in every fight?
I believe
I
when
think
you're
so,
making
right?
when you're making money that Triple G is making to fight Canelo, if you're making 20, 30 million dollars, right? Like so, Floyd Mayweather Sr. How much did he make for Oscar De La Hoya versus Fernando Vargas? He made. Do you know how much Oscar got? I think Oscar got paid 30 million. Oscar played Floyd a flat fee of 500,000. It's very common. It's a very common thing to do. So you're making 500 grand to train, and let's be honestly, Triple G don't need Abel Sanchez. Abel Sanchez needs Triple G. Because Abel Sanchez, where's Abel Sanchez? Do you see him? Do you see him on TV? I don't see him. I've seen him on undercards, and I've seen his fighters getting slept, and he just sits there like he don't have a care in the world. You don't see Abel Sanchez no more. He doesn't exist because Triple G created him. So if I would have him, I would have took that 500,000 because you ain't gonna make nobody else.
Yeah, maybe the ego gets involved though, but it doesn't matter. Like when the business comes.
Well, ego. Warren Buffett says, if you can't control your emotions, you can't control your money. And that man's a billionaire. So I think I try to always think about that when I get emotional about things that have to do with finances. So I feel like he should put his ego to the side. 500K for a single fight is a hell of a lot of money, and stop being greedy, you know? This man, like you said, you put your he's the one in there putting his life on the line, you know? 500,000 for 6 weeks of work. What the hell are we talking about?
I'm a believer of, in a professional level, in every fight, deals change. You know, we have a deal 8 weeks, we have a camp and we fight this guy. And maybe my next camp I might have another coach because that's how it is.
I think at the beginning, when you're making tens of thousands and you're making $100,000, 10% is fair. You know, you can't expect a coach to train you. You make 100 grand, you pay him $2,000. It's not gonna happen. Like 10 grand is, I think that's fair on both sides. But when you're making tens of millions, giving up like $3 million is a lot of money. You know, even though personally, if the coach created me and brought me up from scratch, and I am who I am because of him, I am him. So I'm gonna give him 10% of everything I make.
And that's
because
why
I'm not me without him.
That's why I appreciate the relationship of Canelo with his coach.
Yeah, he respects him, he stays with him. You know? So
Robbie, sorry brother, we left you.
No. The best podcast is when I hardly say anything.
Let me pee.
That's a good one. That's
keep going.
No, we'll wrap it up, but I want to know, the experience of Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, being on the undercard of that. How was that? And then we'll talk about like what you're up to and what's next for you and your, you talk about your experience as a coach of coaches.
Yeah.
But I want to know, are you going to be full-time coach at some point?
Wait, first of all, you know that we can talk for like 10 hours straight
Easy.
now, right?
It's
We just everything that we talk like we can
just
30 minutes.
I forgot that we're on a podcast.
Good.
I swear to God, I'm just talking boxing because I love boxing. I forgot we're on a podcast. It means these cameras don't exist to me.
Yeah, but that's why we started that podcast, because we love boxing. We talk anyways, and we say why we don't create something.
It just comes natural.
Yeah.
So like I could sit here forever and
This guy, bro,
I'll talk all day.
He's a book. Like
Next time you're back in town, we'll do another one.
Huh? Yeah.
I need to say that. Like that's why I really appreciate about you, because I can feel your love about boxing. Like you don't see that often. You speak with people that they say whatever they listen from the news, whatever they listen from a friend but you like love boxing. You like you see the details from inside. You listen. I can listen information from you that I was like, I never thought about that, man, because I never but you have that passion.
I sacrificed my life. I had no life. My friends were going to clubs and I'll look out the window and they're getting in the car and they're like, "You want to roll it?"
Did it put your
like,
life in the right direction also? Would you be something different if you were not boxing? Something not good, basically? I mean, we don't know that, but
discipline. It gave me a lot of discipline, and nothing has provided me with the discipline boxing provided me. After I retired, I went into yoga that meditation thing doesn't work for me, right? The yoga thing, I do it because it helps me with my stretching. I thought it was gonna help me like
Mental.
So I'm a very loving. I believe I'm a good person, and I'm a very friendly, loving person. But I don't tolerate disrespect in any form from anybody, and my reactions is never good. So I took yoga. Boxing provided me with discipline. With like, I'm too tired for this shit. Like I've been getting hit, and I've been hitting people. I don't want to do this. I'm not gonna do it. I can let it brush it off my shoulder. It means nothing. Now I don't get to do that anymore. Like I'm itching to do it. I'm like, man, but I'll go to jail if I do it out here, you know. So now I went to yoga to try to make up for not being in the boxing gym, but that shit don't work for me. I try to have conversations, wonder how I can do it, but it's just not the same. I'm a physical being. Like I need contact, you know, and it's just, yeah, it's different. Like I sacrificed my life for this, like my life.
You think coaching though will kind of
It
help fill that?
Do you want to know the honest truth? Why I got back into coaching? Because I saw how the little I trained Peacock and how he performed. I told Liza 2 fins in the corner, and the 2 fins I told her, she did and worked.
Mate, I remember when I met you, you were like hood up, didn't know who you were, but you were like on the bag next to me, and then just spotting a few little things that I was doing, and just a couple of little comments changed.
Oh, I just said it to you?
I said I did some sparring, and I told you, I was I kept
yeah.
getting caught. And then you watch me like do one little thing on the bag, and you're like, yeah, because you're dropping that and that, and there's those little nuggets of gold.
The little fins,
tiny little nuggets.
It's the little fins that create the complete package. So, like I said, gyms are filled with men. They don't catch the small fins. Like I was watching a guy at my gym in Vegas. He's holding the mitts. His fighter had so many flaws, but he's thinking he's feeling good because he's getting these punches up.
Yeah.
But the jab is doing this. This is doing this. When he throws the hook, it's doing this. These are all tells. These are all tells. You're not gonna hit a sharp fight because a jab should just come out, right here. So I'm right here. My right hand should be under my chin. People think the right hand needs to be here. No, you don't throw right hands from here. It's supposed to be right under your chin. That way you can catch the jab, catch the hook, catch the right
That's
hand.
underworld thing.
Yeah, you know. That's where your hands are never here.
Yeah, but if you coach a guy that just starts boxing, would you start him from here or like keep your hands up? Just they can understand.
I start him here. First of all, when you first get a guy that first walks in the gym, you make sure his legs are good. Starting his leg placement, on his foot placement, his legs. Walk, forward, back, side, lateral. Then skip, lateral. Then hands, walk with your hands up, keep them tight. Then walk with the jab, walk with the double jab, skip with a double jab, throwing a double jab. Then you go to the right hand, then you go to the left hook, and you go, and it all mentally combines.
Do you think this rise in boxing, like boxercise and social stuff, the basics that they're teaching people?
They're not teaching.
They're like exaggerated basics,
They're not
right?
teaching.
They're not actually the
It
right.
looks good they're not teaching.
But do they teach them though the exaggerated basics just so they get into good habits, and then you progress them further from that habit?
I think they're not teaching.
They're not teaching. They're not teaching because there's a fame. There's this good lady. She made it huge on social media from her mitts, and she did a tutorial throwing a jab, right hand, left hook. The jab was, she said, right cross. She said a jab was wrong. She threw a straight right hand. She doesn't know the difference between this is a straight right hand and this is a right cross. So if you throw a straight right hand coming like this, you don't throw, this is like a get off me punch, like some pressure fighters coming at you, bam, I'm out. It's a quick pump, boom, and I'm gone. I got you, you know? A right cross is, I'm trying to pull his lights out with this. I'm going right here, bing, bam. That's the right cross. There's a difference. She said jab, right cross, left hook. She threw the jab wrong. Her hand's too close to her face. She drops her hand. She threw that. She threw the straight right hand and her shoulders like this. She's gonna hyperextend her shoulder. And then the left hook came wrong. Every punch was wrong and her stance was wrong. She squared up. And has the arrogance to do a tutorial on how to throw a jab, right
Well,
hand,
you
and
see
with
that-
no training,
You see that.
no education,
You see that very often. That's
and it drives me nuts. It's like, that's why I wanted to get in it, because I want to expose all these. They're fraudulent. These guys are fraudulent. There's not many teachers left.
But
in
I
this
think
game.
we need more people like you, and we need you actually to start training more often fighters.
Just because you train world champion don't make you a world-class trainer. And to all the future fighters out there, if you're coming up in the game, if a trainer has to convince you with his words, step away. Because good trainers don't say much. They're in the corner. You find them. They don't
Okay,
find
so
you.
you have a fighter now,
Yeah.
not the guy that you train, but you have
Just
somebody that wants to be
hypothetically,
a world champion.
Okay.
What do you looking from him? What do you want him to have? So you can say, you know what, I want to work with you, and I think we can.
All
because
they need
the
to
goal
have-
is to be a world champion, right?
All that he needs to have, honestly, I need to see drive. I need to see if he does something wrong, does he go, if he's like, no, let's do it again. Let's do it. That tells me, oh, this kid's hungry. He has that drive and hunger. He has to, I don't want him to, you're nervous. You're not fearful, you're not nervous. Like, I personally, I've never felt, the only time I felt nervous when getting ready for a fight is when I'm getting my hands wrapped, because at that time I'm not in control. I don't get to get up, walk around and bounce around and loosen up. I'm like, that's the only time I feel a little bit. After that, they say,
You listen to music?
I listen to what I used to. I listen to like music that has rhythm to it. Like when I fought on the Mayweather Pacquiao card, I came out to Get Down on It. Get Down on It, the Kool in the Gang. Because it has rhythm, it makes you feel good. I feel alive. Like I don't want to listen to stuff that makes me feel angry.
Were you stressed out when you fought in the undercard Pacquiao, Floyd?
No, I was no, because I was too mentally and physically prepared. Like this man, like he's 11-0 with 9 knockouts, but he ain't beat me. I ain't one of those people, you know. And this what took my love away from boxing. And I only had one fight after that against Terrell Gachet on NBC, and I didn't train for that fight. And this guy was an Olympian. I had 2 weeks to train for that fight, and he beat me by decision. He should have knocked me. He should knock someone out if he only had 2 weeks to train. But he beat me by decision because I'm so confident in my fundamentals. I'm intelligent, you know. He outclassed me. He beat me every round, and I'll give to Terrell's a hell of a fighter. He just fought for a world title. I thought he won the fight. They gave it away. But when I fought Chris Pearson, I felt disrespected at the scores, because when the 8th round came, I heard his corner screaming. You can hear it on tape. We need these last 3 rounds. We need these last 3 rounds. I heard him in the 8th round, and I swept the last 3 rounds on the announcer's scorecard. I won. He can't. When they read the scores out, they said 9 rounds to 1. They gave me 1 round. And I'm like, what the fuck? And even his own team is saying that we need these last 3 rounds. And that shit just like, I'm like, if they gave him like a split decision or a close unanimous decision by a round or 2 or a majority decision, I could look in the mirror and be like, Sid, you fucked that up. You're responsible for this. Because you know what you're coming into enemy territory. This is Mayweather's Pacquiao. He's a Mayweather promotion fighter. You fucked it up. But when you make the scores like this, I'm upset now. I'm mad. It's like, bro, like, what about I want to be a champion too. Like, what about my dreams? Like, what I sacrifice
but
for?
We've seen that very often.
Yeah, and
we see that very often. Sometimes so you are like, that's impossible. Just, we have to fire the judges. We have to sue them. And nothing really happened.
And
Next
it always
week,
happens,
everybody
man.
forgets about that.
And that's the problem with these judges. They've never sacrificed anything, so they don't know how it feels to lose out.
Yeah, but maybe they follow orders.
They do. That's why the boxing is a money driven sport. Whoever generates money is going to have the nod. That's the end of it.
Talking of money and orders, I'm ordering us to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Sid's expensive.
Yeah. I'm trying to go longer and longer because I'm waiting for someone to show up so we go eat. So Tuesday, it's time to wrap up. I'm out of here.
That can go. That's great. I think we covered a lot of things, all right?
Yeah, man. Mate, thanks for coming on, man.
Of course, man.
It's
I'm
like,
happy, man. I enjoyed it. I actually really, I swear to God, I forgot the camera was there.
I hope
Good.
he's recording.
I swear to God, like I'm just talking like we're just hanging
When
out.
are you coming back?
Well, I'll be, yeah, but you're not gonna do it. I'm gonna be back next weekend, but then I'll be back. You know,
Yeah,
I'll be back every other month, a month.
I'm leaving, so
When,
Well, how long are you leaving for?
don't know, month or two.
Okay,
What-
then then when he comes back, we could.
We're gonna do
cover-
Zoom ones, isn't it?
Alright.
It's all right. Just do. You don't need me anyway. You just do the tallest TK podcast by
The-
yourself.
We need you, bro. Of course we need you.
Do you want to ask you a question?
Me?
What's next? What's next in your life?
I actually felt alive training fighters again, and I feel it's a good time. I don't train fighters. Let me rephrase that. I teach. As an education, there's a system to this. You know, there's an action for every reaction.
Yeah, but I will never like stop asking questions.
Well, we'll stop
Because
there.
now I'm about to
No,
ask,
no.
do they appreciate the teaching or they want the quick like, okay, let's get because
The fighter that I'm training right now, the transition that he's made in 5 weeks is uncanny. He sees the difference because his body's responding to what he's doing better. He had bad tendencies. He had his head this way because he's used to looking at the mirror because they were trying to look pretty. He had too much weight on his back foot. When you have too much weight on your back foot, it's hard to do fins, to maneuver your hips, maneuver your body the way it's supposed to be maneuvered. So he had a lot of bad tendencies. Once you break those bad habits and install the correct fundamental, fins just naturally flows. And he's like, man, and I can show you Texas right now. He was worried because we had a little situation where he didn't make the round.
Yeah, you don't have to show him text.
Yeah,
I
no.
believe you because I have very, very, very few people that I really appreciate their opinion in boxing, and you are one of them, 100%.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm the other.
Us too. That's why we're here.
Let's do it again.
Ethan, thanks,
Yeah,
mate.
for sure, bro. Even brother,
Sid,
brother.
thank you, brother.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah,
I think that was
Thomas.
great.
Yeah. I'll see you next time, Tollers. You too. Man. We're good.
And
How's she not
Cat.
here, man?